Coming up on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365. The Cubs just let one slip right through their fingers. The Padres make them pay for sloppy baseball late in the game. It's a late night West Coast therapy session next. Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365. Toyota, let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign up. Luke Stuckmeyer and Cody Delmendo with you. It's a late night out west again. Seems like we've had a lot of these early in the season. The Cubs had a 3-1 lead after 5 innings, and somehow they blew it and lost 10-4. The reason is pretty simple, Cody. We'll go over a lot of that stuff. There were some positives in the first half of the game. We've got an update on a former Cub. We've got exciting news about a trip we want to tell you about. That's coming in just a couple of minutes. And there's a diehard deal going on right now. Don't let me forget to tell you about that as well. But first, Jameson Taillon seems like he's cruising along. And then, Cody, it was like watching deja vu. Remember when the Cubs lost that game in early April to the Padres at Wrigley Field? And it was, they walked the leadoff man in the 8th. They walked the leadoff man in the 9th. They gave up 8 walks, and they lost the game. This was like the same thing all over again. 6 walks in the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning, and walking the leadoff guy in the 7th and 8th. You're never going to win like that.
Yeah, man. They showed the graphic out at the whatever time. I don't know if they walked any more guys after that, but 6 walks.
6 walks and 9 runs in the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning.
Not great, Bob.
No.
It was. I'll just say this: like Nate Pearson coming into the 7th inning. Considering you pitched a bullpen game yesterday, I get it. Would I have gone with Eli Morgan over Nate Pearson? I don't know, because I don't have nearly as much confidence in him either. So I saw that argument on Cubs Twitter. I think it's just the domino effect of you doing a bullpen game yesterday, and your bullpen is, to this point, not a finished product in terms of what you want it to be. Counsell's still searching for those guys. And I think right now he has confidence in Brad Keller. He has confidence in Porter Hodge. And he has confidence in Julian Merriweather and probably Ryan Presley.
Yeah, 4 guys.
That's it. And Nate Pearson, they said it on the broadcast. Guy had an ERA under 3 in the second half of last year with the Cubs. The guy actually was serviceable last year with the Cubs. I'm not blaming Counsell for bringing in Pearson. You want to blame Counsell for keeping Pearson in for too long? I mean, I guess. But at the same time, like, again, you had a bullpen game yesterday. It's kind of like what happened with the Dodgers on Saturday against the Cubs. The Cubs won 16-0. But Dave Roberts left a guy in there to just get completely throttled in a close game.
Yeah.
And I don't know their bullpen situation, but that's kind of how I felt watching this game tonight. I was like, this kind of feels like a availability type situation. Now, because Steele is now out for the year, I'm not saying we should get used to it, but there might be more games where your starter isn't able to go 6 or 7 innings for you. And that is one of the biggest downsides about Steele being out. And so that means that your bullpen, you got to get it figured out ASAP, man. And I was going to tweet this, and then I just didn't want to deal with the discourse in my replies. So I'll just say it here. Like, I feel fine with the late inning guys, and I have pretty much all season. The middle relief is what's giving me anxiety because I don't feel good about Pearson. I don't feel good about Morgan. I don't feel good about Thielbar. Presley's been shaky, no doubt, outside of his last 2 appearances. But Thielbar blew up in Arizona. He blew up on what was it, Friday, or maybe it was yesterday. He was one of the few guys in the bullpen who wasn't good yesterday. Yeah. And then Pearson, this is the second or third time that he's blowed up. I can't complain about Ryan Presley not throwing first pitch strikes in a save situation if you can't even get there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Those guys simply just have to be better. They simply have to be better. If it's up to me right now, Nate Pearson is getting on a flight to Des Moines, Iowa tonight. And it's nothing personal, man. It's just a business. You have not been what you were brought in to do. You have electric stuff. You can throw hard, but you cannot command anything right now. I can command better pitches than Nate Pearson right now. That's probably not true, but that's just how I feel. I thought after, I think there was 1 or 2 appearances before this appearance, all low leverage because the Cubs were up big or down big in the game. I'm pretty sure they were up big in the games that he had last pitched. So I thought maybe he had built a little momentum. He comes into this game in a tie game and he can't throw a strike. Yeah. That's a problem, man. So
throw a strike, Cody. Throw a strike.
Throw a strike.
In our live chat, it's like me throwing darts. I don't even look at the board. I just kind of throw them all over the place and throw them hard and hope they stick in the board. It wasn't even close. He had no command whatsoever. He absolutely has to go to Iowa and figure it out.
Yeah. But sorry to cut you off. The biggest thing that bothers me though about this game is the turning point. And the turning point is when Happ, Swanson, and Shaw didn't catch that ball hit by Gavin Sheets. In the inning that Tyone started it. He walked Machado, and then that's when Craig came and got him. Keller came in and Sheets hit that ball. And it should have been, I would say that Ian Happ should have caught the ball. And then he walked Bogarts after that. So you got bases loaded. Or no, you have you do have bases loaded with 1 out. And then Iglesias hits that swinging bunt that brings in a run to give them the lead. But the thing is that after that, Hayward hits the ball up the middle, and then 2 more runs come in. And it's frustrating because I felt like Brad Keller had to get 5 outs that inning. If Happ catches the ball, you probably only give up the 1 run. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Keller was good.
Yeah,
he looked great. Didn't do anything wrong. He's in my circle of trust.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, no doubt, but you got to my point is that they didn't help themselves. The Cubs defense didn't help themselves tonight. There was another play later where I think it was the inning that Pearson came in. It started with Fernando Tatis Jr. walking, and then Arias hit that double down the first base line. And when I watched the replay, I'm kind of like, how did Michael Busch not get that? It went right under his glove. And you got second and third with no outs, and then he starts walking guys, and it's just a disaster. And so I'm not saying that Michael Busch missing that ball is an error or anything like that, but it in the moment it did feel like it was I feel like he has that normally. And they had moments earlier in the game where they kind of got lucky defensively, and they were lucky that they were up 3-1. So, yeah, the middle relief pitching in this bullpen is awful right now. But I felt like as a team, they didn't really deserve to win tonight either. It's very similar to the Sunday game that they played the Padres the last time they played.
Game. It's the same game. I'm with you. I don't blame Craig Counsell because he didn't have options because of yesterday. The bullpen was taxed. You can't have those guys. Merriweather can't throw every game.
Yeah, neither can Hodge.
Especially early in the season. You can't have him throwing every single time. And the Cubs gambled this offseason. We talked about it. We said, listen, there's some guys here that could really be something. Okay, Keller looks like that guy. Merriweather still looks like that guy. So there are a couple arms there. And then there's a couple that are still injured. Assad, and Tyson Miller, both going to go out on their rehab assignments with Iowa starting tomorrow. So those are two more guys that come in. But when you start assembling a group of guys that haven't made it other places, or some have but are getting up in age, you got Brazier that's hurt, didn't look great in the spring. You've got Pearson, who just doesn't have it like he did last year right now. You got Eli Morgan, that didn't look good. That can't be like, if you're sending Pearson down, I'm assuming you're losing Morgan for an extended period of time too, based on the fact that he just walked off the mound and mouthed something in his glove. That can't be good. So, yeah, but you're right. The footing for this collapse started early in the game with sloppy baseball. And I don't know what's going on for a team that has gold glovers all over the place and a great center fielder and a gold glover at short and a guy that can do it at second and first. Generally very good. But the last couple days, has it not looked like there's been communication issues with this team?
Yeah. And there was even
I keep asking it about fly balls.
Yeah.
Like, I know PCA, I love him, but I know he wants to go get everything, right? He wants to go get everything. There was a moment tonight where he went to go get one in right field, and Tucker said something to him, just made the catch. Did you see this?
I did see this, yes.
Tucker made the catch and said something to him. PCA was kind of like, what? I want him to catch everything. But when the ball's directly to the right fielder, you got to let it go to the right fielder. And that's how I felt about that play in left field, where it was clearly Hap's ball. But you had guys, Dansby's running all the way across the field because he's a great shortstop and he can maybe make the play. But the easiest play is for the left fielder.
Yeah.
And if the left fielder's calling it, he shouldn't have to worry about two other guys coming full speed at him. And the Cubs have had that play happen too often. They've got to get together on their communication a little bit, because as great as they are, it's led to some sloppy play a couple times. And tonight it just kind of set the stage. And then the walks did it. That's it. Period.
Yeah.
Walks.
Yeah. Yeah. Mitch in the chat, in relation to what I was talking about with Michael Busch, he said that he was just off the bag a little too much, which fine. They didn't give him an air, but it was just like one of those things where I was just like, this feels like he normally has that. And then Steven in the chat says the Cubs pitching in the minors is below average compared that to hitting. Again, it's Jed's fault. He does not put emphasis on guys who throw hard. Nate Pearson throws 100 miles per hour.
He throws hard.
Brad Keller throws 100. He touched 100 tonight. Okay. Eli Morgan, he relies on pitch to contact, and that's why he's probably more of a middle relief option, right? Porter Hodge, 97 to 100, right? Like, they have guys who throw hard. Their problem, organizationally, it feels like, is they lack command consistently. They walk too many people, man. They walk too many people. That is, to me, like, just as someone who's not, I'm not Brendan Miller. I'm not Lance Brosnowski. I cannot tell you why or how. All I can say is what I see with my eyes. And when you walk 6 guys in 2 innings, Luke, it's not great. Plain and simple, man. Plain and simple. Like, figure it out. That's where I'm at. You have to figure it out. I've said on this show this month with this bullpen, I've said they will figure it out. But if they don't figure it out until June, yes, we'll be talking about more one-run losses, more marginal losses that make me want to go jump in the lake and eat $50 orders of Taco Bell. Okay? You're 11-8. This hasn't happened a lot this year so far, but yeah, you can now probably add this to the games you threw away folder. That's 3 here in April. I guess I don't necessarily want to add this one to the other 2, but you led in the 6th inning. You're up 3-1. Tyone gave you a chance to win. Michael Busch hits a home run. PCA has a 3-hit night. You gave the game away in many aspects. It is what it is.
You're not Brendan Miller, and I'm not the pitch doctor, but I am a pitch philosopher. And my philosophy is you can't walk the leadoff man in close games, because when you do over and over, the guy always scores. And then it just snowballed from there. So you're right. It is a lost game. Chalk it up. This is the third one of the year. The Padres came in 13-3. 2 of their losses were to the Cubs. They should have 2 more on their hands from the Cubs as well. We're going to tell you about this great trip we have coming up to Milwaukee in just a second. But first, Cody's going to tell us about our great sponsors over at Bet365.
Yeah, whatever the moment, the ordinary at it's never ordinary at Bet365. Wow, it's late. Okay. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use code CHGO365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. One of the promos they have right now with Bet365 early payout offer. If you're a winner, if your team goes 5 runs ahead, with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So if you had bet the Padres live, I guess you can't do it live, but if you did bet the Padres coming into this game, and after that huge late inning outburst, I don't think you would have sweated the rest of the game anyway, but when they got up 5+ runs, you would have automatically won your bet. Download the app, use code CHGO365 when you sign up. All right. Again, $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use code CHGO365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. They can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be assessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in the app only.
Hey, just like your favorite team needs a home field advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help get it for you. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. You can go to the big box store, but you might be talking to somebody who was working selling toilets yesterday and selling patio furniture the day before that. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring. That's what they do. They're flooring experts, bringing the showroom right to your house. Get precise measurements taken, have all your questions answered, so there are no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing, plus you can schedule an installation as soon as the next day. Nobody likes to wait. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when you use the promo code CHGO. You heard me right. $350 off when you use the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. I mentioned the hot deal we have coming up.
We mentioned it last night too, but
we talked about it last night. Yeah. May 3rd. Okay. Cubs Brewers. It's a night game at Wrigley North. We're doing a pregame party and live show at the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel. $100 in casino play, lunch buffet, drink tickets, and it's all just for $50. If you pay another $75, that'll get you a seat with us as we sit as a group in section 200 and try and take over this ballpark again. Again, we do it. And we're going to walk away with a win again. So that's the plan. This is a great deal. I mean, everything I've heard, first of all, about Potawatomi Casino is first class.
Yeah.
You could add on a hotel stay if you want to as well. So that's part of it.
It's if you want to just do the bare minimum, it's $50. And that's not even if you're a diehard. If you're a diehard, it's cheaper because you get 20% off events. You know what I mean? Right. So I think it adds on 75 if you get the game ticket to sit with us in the 200 section. Yeah. And then it's like,
and you can add on the hotel too if you want to.
Yeah. And it's $275 for the hotel. So it's a great deal, man. I was in the Discord today asking if any of the diehards are going to come. Got a few people who already said that they're trying to come. So nice. I'm excited. I got some friends who live they're not really my friends. I have a friend who lives in Milwaukee who has friends who like our show, who I hope maybe come hang out as well. So should be a fun time. And as long as this team keeps playing well, I know tonight sucked, but as long as this team keeps playing well, it could be a fun day at Wrigley North, and I will definitely be staying away from the escalators, Luke.
Yes, I will.
That's why we're in the 200 section.
Stairs. Thank you very much.
Corey in the chat shout out to him for being up this late to therapy with us. He asks, I guess my thought, but you can also give your thoughts on this too, Luke. Thought on Shaw being pinch hit for, if they're going to let Birdie take that plate appearance, pretty telling of where Shaw's at.
Well, he's struggling at the plate, but they're thin at third, right? Like, Workman hasn't been hitting like he was in spring training. Tater has cooled off since Cactus League.
He only hits against position players.
So this is where we're at. We got to ride with it.
Yeah.
You have to let him go and take his lumps early on. At least he's playing good defense.
Yeah.
He has
kind of my thing.
Really nice grabs over there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess given the situation, he did have a hit tonight, but it was an infield hit. I think the thing with Shaw that makes it frustrating and concerning is he's not hitting the ball hard. You're not seeing a lot of line drives. You're seeing a lot of pop outs. You're seeing a lot of weak ground balls. You're seeing some ugly strikeouts. He did have a 7-game streak where he walked, which was cool. It's nice. A good sign, But going into this game, he had 65 plate appearances. So I'm curious on how the Cubs feel about, that line to where they're like, okay, this guy's confident shot. He needs to maybe change his stance a bit. I see a lot of people online complaining about the stance. The only thing about the stance that truly I'm questioning is, like, I feel like he's not standing close enough to the plate, and he's missing a lot of pitches away, and a lot of pitches that he does make contact, again, weak contact. So it's kind of like, they were kind of talking about Justin Turner and how he stands close to the plate on this broadcast. And he was told by Zach Greinke way back when he was with the Dodgers that he was missing pitches away, or he wasn't consistently connecting with pitches away. And Greinke straight up told him that he should move closer to the plate. Now, I'm no hitting guru, right? But I'm just saying, like, to me, I know the stance in terms of the feet and the front foot and how it is positioned. A lot of people are complaining about it. Aesthetically, it doesn't look cool. I won't disagree with that. But I don't know whether it's that or whether it's just the leg kick. Amaya had the leg kick too, and then he got rid of it, and we've seen him take off. At some point, there needs to be some form of an adjustment, because it does feel like the same thing is just inevitably happening every day with this guy. And I don't want to sit here and act like I know what adjustments or changes he needs to make, because I don't know. But I do know that the good news is he's playing pretty solid defense for the most part, and he's been able to find a way to have decent at bats. It's just in very inconsistent form. And the thing that I would like to see more is just more hard contact. PCA was struggling going into the weekend against the Dodgers, and you saw him make adjustments, and now he's hitting line drives. He hit a double for 108 miles per hour tonight. Like, you're seeing him kind of adjust like we want to see Shaw do that, right? And I just don't know how long it's going to take. And I also feel like I have to be a little light on him, because it's not like the Cubs are playing an easy schedule right now. They're going up against really good pitching, man.
Yeah.
And so my advice to anyone is that you have to just kind of ride it out for right now, because I would feel differently if they had an Alex Bregman or someone, it's Gage Workman and John Birdie. And then I guess maybe Vidal Brujan, who's in Iowa right now on a rehab assignment. Like, it's not like you have a ton of options anyway. And so is it better for him to just go through the lumps, or would it be better for him to go to Iowa and work on some things and roll with a veteran and Birdie and Brujan? And, you could roll with Gage Workman at third base, but you're going to do with the same things. Like, he has barely any major league experience. I honestly, you want me to complain about how they're doing the lineups and stuff? The fact that Gage Workman hasn't really got a ton of opportunities at all kind of annoys me, because, like, why is he here? It's like, I give Counsell a pass for pitching Pearson tonight because he was fresh. Well, you know what? Shaw's struggling, and you had a guy in spring training who was hot, and I know spring training results don't matter, but I'm not saying you play Gage Workman every day, but I am saying if he's on your roster, you got to use him for something. So I'm kind of rambling now, and I'm sorry.
I just don't want people to get, like, I know Shaw, it's not pretty at the plate right now.
Mhm.
It reminds me of PCA's first couple shots in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this kid hasn't even played a month of Major League Baseball.
Mhm.
He hasn't even played a month of Major League Baseball.
Right.
So I'm not ready to change his stance. I'm not ready for him to get advice from 50 different people. Just let him play for a while. Like, you're the best offense in the major leagues right now. Like, you're scoring enough runs to win games.
Yeah.
His lack of offense is not a reason that the Cubs are losing the games that they're losing. It's
You're right.
just not the case, because
It's the bullpen.
the bottom of the order is
And
giving
defense.
you plenty of production, right? Like,
Yeah.
PCA has turned it on, and we were worried about him, but here he seems to come.
Amaya
And Amaya's
have
been better
awesome.
than we expected him to be this season. And Carson Kelly was better, and I hope he's not hurt too bad.
Right.
But take your time with Shaw. Let's not panic. It's not like you have Cam Smith sitting there waiting, tearing it up at AAA, and you've got to get a different cycle up a different guy. It's not the same thing as bringing up different bullpen arms.
Swear jar, by the way.
We knew the bullpen guys were going to switch out all season. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I guess my point with Gage Workman is, like, can you do a platoon, like let Workman face some right-handed pitching more?
I'm fine with Workman.
That's all, because the one thing that I do know that we will get from Shaw and Workman both is defense. They will field the ball. But can tonight they had a chance to perhaps get a manufacturer run. I think it was PCA, or no, it was Amaya. I think Amaya was on second. Shaw was coming up. They had 0 outs. Shaw strikes out, and I think Happ struck out right after that, and Tucker hit a deep fly ball off Cease. And the point is that they had a chance to add to manufacture a run, and they didn't, and they had a leadoff double to start the inning. So as much of a break I'm giving Shaw, it would be nice if he could at least do the little things. Hit the ball to the right side when you got a guy at second base and no outs. Like and he's not even giving you the bare minimum right now. It feels like. So I'm with you, genuinely.
Not that Birdie hasn't been great, Cody, but what's the alternative? Birdie plays every day for a whole season at third base.
That's not the alternative. Yeah,
you're not even a month into the season. Like, let it play out. By the way, thanks to everybody that's commented in the live YouTube chat. Make sure everybody subscribes to the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel if you haven't already. Or if you know somebody who hasn't already, go ahead and tell them, because we're pumping out content there, and make sure you don't miss out any of it.
Yeah, hit the like button, please.
PCA 3 hits tonight. Like I said, bottom of the order. I don't know which I'm more excited about. PCA showing that the offense, the bat is coming around again, or it wasn't that I doubted him, but I was a little, I don't want to even say skeptical, but I worried a little bit about what we were going to see from Michael Busch this season, because 1 year doesn't prove anything, and 1 month doesn't either. But it sure looks, well, we know he likes playing out west, but it sure looks like he's going to have another good season.
Yeah. I mean, I tweeted last night after he hit the second home run that I'm basically addicted to the roller coaster of Pete Crow-Armstrong. He's just so fun. He's fun to watch. I think Sut even said on the broadcast, like, the ticket you buy is worth coming to watch PCA run, Like I've always said, we've always said, this guy figures it out with the bat, man. We sit here and get real delulu about how good he can be. And, we all got, I know I did it, at least in the spring. You have a 1,500 OPS in the spring, whether those results matter or not in my head, like that'll get a guy dreaming, living high on life, as a fan. But yeah, when he was struggling and he was pounding the ball on the ground, and now he's hitting some line drives and he's hitting the ball, over the wall. Like yesterday, he's a fun player, dude. And I think that he is showing that he can make adjustments with the rest of the league. That's what I think he's showing right now.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great, and you live with some of the smaller mistakes and little things that happen because he's a young player, because he's super aggressive.
Yeah.
But if he can hit at the bottom of the order with Amaya and PCA and other guys, like I said, Busch getting it done.
If he keeps hitting, he's going to find himself higher in the lineup. Like, he's a guy.
I'm not worried about Ian Happ either, right? Like, I'm not worried about Happ. This is what he does.
I'm not worried about. I'm not even saying leadoff. I'm saying, like, if he continues to hit like this, like slug, like doubles down the line or hitting the ball over the fence, like, if you're gonna bat Swanson fifth all season to start the year, why can't PCA find himself in the 5 hole? You know what I mean? Like, I do think that whenever he is fully, not necessarily fully developed, but I do think if he reaches where we hope he can be with the bat, man, like he could be your leadoff man one day. My hope is by the end of the year, but if he continues to hit doubles like he is and hitting balls 108 miles per hour, like he did tonight, and hitting a triple yesterday and 2 homers, like if he's doing that on a consistent basis, why are we not putting this guy in the 5 hole at some point? I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm not saying on Wednesday. I'm just saying, like, he's showing that there's some real power in that bat of his. Like, he's a guy that you know that he loves the moment. Like, he's a guy that I don't mind if you want to move him up in the lineup at some point. Like, why not put him in the 5 hole? And I've been a defender of Swanson, you know, like Swanson's hitting the ball hard and stuff too. But listen, like, I think we both feel better if Swanson's hitting 6 or 7 compared to 5th. That's just me. But
yeah,
anyway.
I just my only complaint about PCA is I just want those guys to all get on the same page out there.
Yeah,
they're got to have some conversations as an outfield group, and they have to get as a defense. Pop-ups, communication, they've all got to get on the same page. The offense is coming around. We'll talk more about it in a second, including disappointing news for a former Cub. But first, a word from our sponsors. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. They've got a lot of amazing things. One-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside is Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in the city, Wrigleyville, River North, all the way to the suburbs, Champaign, South Beloit, and more. If you're starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance for you and brands they know you'll love. If you're a pro, like Corey Friedman, well, they've got you covered with over 100 strains on the menu, new ones added daily. We know you'll love Cresco and Florical's incredible quality and consistent products. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases and a promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 and older or Illinois medical card holders.
Luke, what's your favorite Lucy flavor?
All of them, Cody.
How did I know you're going to say that? Same. Tonight is a great night to have Lucy because it'll help you get over this loss. Let me tell you, helps take off the tension, the pressure, you know, the stress that you might be feeling, the anxiety that you felt during that 6th inning, perhaps. Yeah. I would pop one in during the 6th inning, honestly, right? Someone in the chat earlier said that I should use Lucy because I was so angry in the first segment, you know. And honestly, I should have. I might have to do that after the show. Anyway, level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/CHGO and use promo code CHGO2025 to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co and use code CHGO2025 to get 20% off. And here comes the fine print, Luke. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hey, let's tell them about the Die Hard deal before we forget. Because the draft is coming up. We have the big draft party coming up. We have launched the Die Hard deal, limited time offer, $36 right now for 1 year of being a Die Hard. That's nothing. and you still get the free shirt and the discounts on the merch and a discount on the events and the Discord and access to all the written content. So if you know somebody that's a fan, obviously huge time to be a diehard if you're a Bears fan, which most people in Chicago are. They got these 4 picks early in the draft, top 100 picks that they're going to use. How are they going to use them? And then right back into Cubs season as the Cubs make a push for the playoffs, hopefully this year. So good time to sign up to be a diehard, is affordable as it's ever going to be. So go on and check that out. Hello to everybody in the live YouTube chat again. I see y'all there, Becky. I haven't been reading as much of the chat today because I know.
Oh my God! Some of the takes I'm reading tonight.
Listen,
everyone can cub how they want to cub, man. But
right.
Come on, man.
You can cub however you want to cub, but I expect better. I'm disappointed. That's what I'll say. I'm just disappointed. I'm your disappointed father tonight to the entire chat.
Maybe it'll be better in the Discord later.
No, doubt it. Everyone's angry tonight. And everyone should be angry tonight. You were up 3-1 the 6th inning. You should have won the game. Or at least you shouldn't have lost 10-4 or whatever it was. Yeah, 10-4.
10-4.
It's listen, 2 things are true. You're 11-8. You're in first place. The Brewers lost 9-1 the Tigers tonight. You have one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in all of baseball, based off run differential and other stats. Your starting pitching, even though Justin Steele is out, has been pretty solid to start the year. So you have 2 of the 3 facets going for you. You got to figure out the bullpen to where you have to figure out the bullpen to a point to where you feel like you don't have to, take some sort of drug to get you through the last 3 innings of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Hey, did you see they had like a 5.2 or they had a fairly significant earthquake this morning? I was curious if Brendan, the pitch doctor, felt the earthquake this morning.
In
San Diego.
In San Diego?
Yeah, like a 5 something.
And he's out there tweeting that he wanted a freaking 12-inning game. Why would you ask for that after that?
Maybe some of the Cubs were shaken by that, and that doesn't explain the good 5 innings to start the game.
Yeah, that's it. Doesn't
explain that.
Can we? We were kind of talking about Michael Busch in that last segment.
Yeah,
I would just like to say that his home run tonight off Dylan Cease, A, fun, B, is a sign of development. I think these last 4 days or so have been a sign of development compared to last year. So I don't know if it's just him getting hot and him hitting well against West Coast teams or whatever, like Marquis said, but I think it's something to pay attention to. And yeah, I don't know. That's really all I have, but I'm enjoying Michael Busch right now. I'm enjoying PCA. I'm enjoying Miguel Amaya. Those are 3 guys, young guys in your lineup that are controllable and, are going to be here for a while. And the Cubs are banking on these guys panning out. And I think they're playing well right now. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you get through the end of the season, we have 3 games now this year where you can say, well, the bullpen didn't do their job. And walks were involved in all 3 of them. When most of the losses get stacked up, that's what they're going to be until they can somehow get that fixed. Like, yeah, occasionally you get a game where the starter is just
trash,
doesn't have it,
yeah,
or the offense has 3 hits. But I would guess that the majority of losses will still come from bullpen struggles until they can get that straightened out. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know if it's going to get fixed or not. A lot of the questions we had last year, but I still feel like there's a chance at some point this season they can get it straightened out. Right now, yesterday, we sat here and said, what a job by the bullpen. What a job by the bullpen. The problem is that group of guys can't pitch every day.
Right.
Poor Ethan Roberts had to go back out there. People were asking that stuff like, hope he's all right. And I hope Eli Morgan's okay. I know people were upset with Eli Morgan, but whatever was going on,
Eli Morgan has all. I wouldn't say he's been as big of a disappointment as Nate Pearson, I guess, but he was. I mean, I don't know if that prospect they sent to the Guardians is going to go on to be the the next Manny Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians organization or whatever, right? I don't know if that's going to happen. And it was a low risk trade, right? Because they sent like a low A guy who had alarming K rates, I guess, right? But when they made that move for him, I was happy about it because it's like, okay, you're going and getting a dude. Like he had a ERA under 3 last year with the Guardians. This only goes back to the point that we always make about how bullpens are volatile and like guys can just completely fall apart, in the next year. Like, hell, you want to stick with the Guardians, like Emmanuel Clase has given up like 7 or 8 earned runs here early on, just in the month of April, and like he's supposed to be one of the best closers in baseball. Like bullpens are volatile. You just never know when a guy's going to blow up or go through a tough stretch. So, but the point is I've seen enough of Nate Pearson for now. I think his confidence is shot and he is struggling mightily with command. And he needs to get back to what he was doing in the second half of last year when he came over from Blue Jays. Whatever the Cubs tried to get him to do, like, I don't know what it is, but he cannot throw a strike.
He needs to go to Iowa to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's coming tomorrow. It's got to be, right?
Gotta be. And if it's not tomorrow, it's Wednesday because he's not going to pitch tomorrow and they'll have a fresher bullpen. You know what I mean? Like if it's not tomorrow, it's Wednesday. And whether it's Keegan Thompson or Daniel Palencia, you know what I mean? Like it's just got to be someone. And like you said, those other guys, they can't pitch every day. Where would this team be without Brad Keller, a non-roster invitee?
How about the 100 he painted on the corner?
Oh yeah, to end that inning. Yeah, I would have been so pissed walking back to the dugout after that inning, dude. He did everything right that inning.
Yeah, he did.
Considering the situation outside of walking a guy. You know what I mean? But he came into a dirty inning, put into a high leverage situation, having to go through the heart of the Padres lineup. He can't. He's basically been perfect to this point. I'm not going to complain about Brad Keller. He's the last person in this bullpen that I'll be complaining about. Well, maybe second to last because Porter Hodge is definitely the last guy I'll be complaining about.
And Merriweather. I don't complain about Merriweather.
Yeah.
I see the chat, Steven saying that Counsell mentioned there'll be roster moves and that Eli Morgan has been dealing with some elbow stuff. So that can't be a great sign. And speaking of injuries, did you see Kris Bryant put on the injured list with lumbar degenerative, careful how I say this, disc disease.
Yeah. And whenever I went and Googled that, my heart kind of sunk.
I mean, I know people were mad that he took the money and that they traded him and you got to feel bad for him. You have to. And I know everybody's going to say, well, he got $182 million. I don't feel bad for him. He can't be happy right now.
No.
Can't be. It's brutal. To see him go from when we watched him win Rookie of the Year and then MVP and help the Cubs, break the curse of over 100 years, and they win the World Series, and he's one of the best players in all of baseball. To go from that to where he's at right now is just brutal.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for him. I really do.
Listen, two things are true. Like, the stuff that's come out related to Kris Bryant with how he did free agency and stuff like that the last couple of years doesn't look great, right? But we both know, and everyone in this chat, even if they're not the biggest fan of the guy, knows that he is a good person. While he was in Chicago for 6 years, he displayed himself as a great human being, right? And he helped the Cubs win the World Series, right? I think if you don't feel bad for this guy because of money. I just don't think you have any sort of empathy in your heart. And to me, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
So that's my take on people who don't feel bad for him, because it'd be different if we're talking about someone. Let's just use Marcell Ozuna, for example. That guy is a piece of he's not a good person. I almost cursed there. Shout out Sarah. I didn't do it. He's got a lot. He's done some bad things, and he's remained in the game, right? Kris Bryant has been a great human his entire life. Married his high school sweetheart. He is a good human being, right? This sucks. He was the last person that deserves this kind of injury history. If you can't have empathy for a guy like that, then like I said, I think that's a you problem. So it sucks. And what makes it suck more, and we've talked about this a lot over the years, is just like, it just makes you wonder what he could have been. You know, even when he left in 2021, he was, for the 6 years that he had been in the league, if you just count from 2015 to 2021, the end of 2021, he was 8th in baseball in Fangraphs WAR from in between those two in that time period. So he was, by value standards, the 8th best player in baseball, even in 2021, if you just compile all those years together, right? Despite having those injuries in 2018 and in 2019, and even loads of the nagging ones he had in 2021, you know. So you could make an argument that he was on a Hall of Fame path, and just these injuries have just completely kind of tarnished his career. Like, no one has any, do people have any respect for the guy around the league anymore, that he's not talked about at all? You know, when it comes to, you know, just players, like even when people talk about the Rockies now, people are talking about like Brenton Doyle or Ryan McMahon or that new pitcher they got, Dolander, and he's
just falling off a cliff.
Like no one is talking about this guy, and it's a sad fall, man. It's a sad fall, and that's
I thought he was headed for a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, he was definitely on that path, in my opinion, and I think that's dead now. And when you Google this disease, it makes me feel like he's never going to play a game again, because it's not like curable, and it's like it's something that you just try to manage.
Yeah.
And so,
which is what you want for him. Like, I don't care what happens in baseball anymore. I just want the guy to be able to live a healthy life with his family.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take another break here to talk about some of our great sponsors. First, shop savings to celebrate during the Jeep Celebration event at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Now's your chance to score a great deal on your next vehicle. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram vehicles. Right now, you can get up to $12,000 off MSRP and select new 2024 Jeep Wrangler models with a dealer discount, or lease the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Sport 4xE for only $129 a month. You can also shop over 125 vehicles they have priced under $20,000. They have a friendly team of experts, and they prioritize affordability. So you're not going to overpay for the vehicle you need. And with Ray's Price Promise, you can shop confidently that there's no add-ons, no hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. It's that simple. Go check out our partner to shop one of the Chicago area's largest inventories. Find the right new vehicle for you, then drive home happy. The team at Ray CDJR is the only one we recommend. Don't miss out on the Jeep Celebration event going on all month long for huge savings on your next Jeep Wrangler. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today in Fox Lake or online, raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963.
You see, I got my Shady Rays, Luke.
Oh, yeah.
I know I'm inside, but I felt like I should put them on.
These readers are Walgreens.
Anyway, you need some Shady Rays, Luke Stuckmeyer. All right. Our friends at Shady Rays are helping you get in the right frame of mind with their premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their sunglasses have durable frames and a crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. With so many colors available, you'll find a pair that's perfect for you. I like these. I forget the name of these, but if you are curious, feel free to DM me and I can go find it and send you the link. They have so many colors available. Like I said, and if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by their lost and broken replacements program. And if you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. All right, CHGO listeners and viewers, go to shadyrays.com and save 35% off polarized sunglasses with code CHGO. Over 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars, so use code CHGO today at shadyrays.com.
Wow, what a vibe.
When you get your Shady Rays, they'll also send this like little bag too. You know, and you can put your shades in them. So
Android says, to be honest, I bought Shady Rays a couple years ago and haven't bought anything since.
Well, there you go.
You know
why? Because he loves them.
You're just looking for a little freshen up the look a little bit.
Yeah, they're great sunglasses for real. One of my favorite sponsors that we have here at CHGO. So, anyway, you could put your Shady Rays on when the Cubs bullpen comes in to hide your pain. You know.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I don't hate games, and you're gonna blow bullpen games every year, but
yeah,
I don't hate games where a guy comes in, doesn't have it, and he comes in with 2 guys on. It's a 3-run homer, and you lose the game. Happens, right?
That's kind of like what happened Friday.
Like walking the leadoff man and coming in and having no chance of throwing a strike that drives me. 6 walks in 3 innings is not acceptable.
Yeah.
At any level. So that's one of the reasons why you're going to see some changes. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be Keegan Thompson. I don't know when they're going to want to bring up Cade Horton. But Cade Horton, you don't want to bring him up too early if you plan on using him all season, because you got to save some innings on that arm. He hasn't been in that situation before. So could it be Keegan Thompson? Sure. I don't know when Luke Little's ready. But we know that it can't be too far away, maybe 3 appearances at the most in Iowa for Assad and Tyson Miller, assuming things go well there. But I don't think they're the guys that are coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. One good thing you have going tomorrow is, first of all, you've won 4 straight series. You still got a decent chance to win these next 2. You have Shota, and then you have Boyd. And both have pitched well, except for Shota's last start. 5 innings, 5 earned runs. Arguably, Cody, his worst start as a Cub.
Mm-hmm.
But April 4th against the Padres, 7 1/3, his longest outing as a Cub. 4 hits, no walks against the Padres. That is the key right there. If Shota can avoid the walks and give whoever the bullpen happens to be tomorrow, I would like to see Shota go 7.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would love to see Shota go 7. I think 6 would be fine too. You'll have a fresher bullpen tomorrow. You used Ethan Roberts, Pearson, Morgan, and Keller tonight. So, and you can't use Keller tomorrow because he's pitched 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
Hasn't
Roberts pitched 3 straight?
Yeah, Roberts pitched 3 straight days now. Yeah, so you have Merriweather, Hodge, Presley tomorrow. Like, ideally, Shota goes 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
You go with Merriweather, Hodge, Presley. Ideally, like if everything goes right, Cubs get an early lead, they're up. Let's call it 4-1. Shota gives up 1 solo shot to Jackson Merrill, and who I don't think played tonight, which makes it even more annoying.
No, he's on the injured list.
Oh, is he on the injured list?
That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Merrill just went on the injured list with, I wrote it down for myself. They're catching a break. Like, yes, the Padres came in 13-3, but they have no Cronenworth, no Jackson Merrill hamstring. Musgrove had Tommy John, of course, and you Darvish the elbow inflammation. And like, you have some great players. They're off to an incredible start considering some of the guys that they're missing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
no Darvish. Right now, Jackson Merrill's going out. We'll see if it continues, but
No Musgrove as well. Yeah.
Musgrove.
Yeah, no, they've more depth than I guess I could say that I felt like they did. You know, I criticized them a lot in the offseason for basically doing nothing. They signed Nick Pivetta.
But you know what, Cody? Like, everybody talked about how the Dodgers dominated the Yankees. Padres had him on the ropes.
Yeah.
Padres had him on the ropes, and I'm not sure if they don't get to the World Series and do the same thing to the Yankees.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think the key for the Padres for sure is they need Tatis to be healthy all season. They need him to play 150 games this year.
Yeah.
And they need Machado to start hitting more line drives. He's hitting like he has like a 50% ground ball rate right now, despite the fact that his batting average around 300. Of course, it's early in the year, so these things like they go up and down a lot. Someone in the chat earlier telling me that Swanson's hitting 176 was let's just not talk about his like 190 BABIP right now, though. Of course, though, right? So these things change very quickly, and no one wants to acknowledge that. So the point I'm getting at is like last year they were really good, surprisingly, in my opinion, because Merrill had like a huge year, one rookie of the year as a 5-WAR player. Machado and Tatis were like 3-win players. Like they were fine. And then they were especially Tatis, he was great in the playoffs. But I think if like they're going to get back there again, like they're going to need those guys to have better seasons. And so far to this point, they're having pretty good seasons. Tatis 2 home runs tonight. And you know, even Gavin Sheets has been like a nice addition for them.
I can't believe on this team with these players that they have Gavin Sheets batting cleanup. I'll be honest with you. Like the list of sluggers that they have on this team, and I know Merrill's out and some other guys, but it's interesting. That's just how the game has changed, right? Like they have some guys that you look at and say, man, I wouldn't want to face him. Gavin Sheets is not that guy.
Yeah.
He got a big hit in this game, but whatever.
He can hit the ball far. He can hit the ball far when he gets it.
Well, he's but credit to him, he's off to a great start.
Yeah. They were chanting. They were chanting his name every time he came to the plate. It's funny because he played for the White Sox and he was like on the worst team of all time. It's just like, this guy batting fourth for the Padres? What?
Speaking of former players, I will say one thing that's frustrating when you watch the bullpen stuff like tonight, right? And we've been waiting for like 3 years for like, hey, they're building this on arms and the bullpen guys are coming. And we kept saying, oh, this is going to be this great. They're going to have their hater and they're going to have, and maybe Hodges, that guy finally, right?
Yeah.
But it is frustrating when Estrada leaves the team and finds success.
Jason Adam.
Yeah. Adam. Did you see Wesneski had like 10 strikeouts the other day?
Going up against Kyle Hendricks, yeah.
So I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. I don't know what the connection is. I'm just saying it is frustrating to see guys leave and then have great success sometimes, and then you're still going through the same list of players trying to find somebody that's going to be lightning in a bottle, and they have found some, right? Like,
right. Well, yeah, it's like if we want to go reverse, like Brad Keller was terrible for a while, and now he comes to the Cubs and he's kind of figured something out, you know, like I know it's early, but like
that's fair.
He's like so far in the circle of trust right now that I feel like that's such a great find by Jed Hoyer. You know, Julian Merriweather was awful with the Blue Jays. They found him off the street and they've turned him into a high leverage reliever. I know in last year he would have been the same thing if he was just healthy, you know. Like
if Presley were to struggle for like 2 weeks here and have a couple more bad odds where you're just like, you can't watch it, right? And he's bounced back a little bit. Yeah. But if you were to do that, would you still feel comfortable with the end of the game becoming Keller, Merriweather, Hodge?
No.
No, I wouldn't either.
No,
I would move I would move Presley to the less pressing spots in the game.
The long-term goal for me in the bullpen for one particular player in Porter Hodge has always been that he emerges as your closer because he's just better.
Yeah.
You know, one of my bold predictions this year was that Hodge was going to save 20 games because I just think he's too good and that he will just overtake.
I don't think that's that crazy. I think he could do that. But I have liked what I've seen out of Keller, man.
The projections,
when he had 100 on the line, I was like,
the projections had Hodge getting 11.
Yeah,
so
that's
I was
low,
like, yeah. But like Presley's in the role right now. And I was wondering if they were going to, you know, kind of treat Hodge as kind of like Josh Hader early in his career, where he would, depending on the inning, he would come in and face the middle of the lineup. And then, you know, they would go from there. And if Presley's coming in the ninth inning and he's getting the bottom three in the lineup, I can live with that, you know. But Presley looked great in the ninth inning yesterday against the Dodgers. And the appearance before that, he looked pretty good too. So I don't know, he might be figuring it out. I didn't feel very stressed during his last couple appearances, which is a good sign. I know even when he was, you know, kind of you know, when he was stressing us all out, you know, I know he was definitely giving me anxiety, but he never blew a save. The bullpen, the guys who have sucked the most in the bullpen this year have just been middle relief. The guys that we've talked about this entire show, those have been the guys who have been the biggest problem. Now, Merriweather gave up 2 runs in a random appearance. Like, guys can't be perfect every single time they come out, or else and if that were the case, there would be a team out there with a bullpen ERA of 0, and there just isn't. So guys are going to give up runs, even ones that you feel most confident in at some point. But who do you feel most confident in on a daily basis or every other day basis, whatever? I still feel like the Cubs are figuring that out. But at the same time, while they're figuring that out, guys have to actually earn those spots. And the guys that we've talked about this show, whether it's Pearson, Morgan, I haven't talked enough about how Thielbar hasn't done his job either. Those 3 guys, to me, have been the biggest busts in this bullpen to start the year. And Thielbar, honestly, is the one that bothers me the most because he's the one lefty. Now, Luke Little's in Iowa. I'm ready for Luke Little. I don't know what we're waiting for. Unless
Fernando wants to know if Quas is available.
Don't trigger my PTSD. Okay. They need Thielbar to figure it out because he's a lefty. And if he doesn't, then, you know, like I said, I think Luke Little is better anyway, but that's just one of those things that I feel like will loom larger long-term than Pearson or Morgan not being what they need them to be. Because you have plenty of right-handed relievers. They don't have enough left-handed relievers. And that's an organizational thing, it feels like. So hopefully Luke Little will be available soon. Or Thielbar figures it out.
We'll find out. We'll find out who the guys are going to be tomorrow. We'll be back here, I should say later today, because we've taken this past 1:07 a.m. now for the postgame. We'll be back later tonight with another postgame show after game 2 of this series. Thanks to everybody that stayed up early in the morning with us here on the live YouTube chat on the CHGO Cubs YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't done it yet, tell somebody about it and check it out for us. Don't forget to check out the Milwaukee trip coming up on May 3rd, Potawatomi Casino. That's a great deal. Starts at $50. You can add on $75. You can stay at the hotel. You can add the game ticket onto that, but it's going to be a good time coming up on May 3rd. So check that out. We hope you'll check us out again tomorrow, and thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us. Therapy.
8:40 start tomorrow.
Yeah.
The next 12 to 14 hours. Just
not tomorrow. Tonight.
Or tonight.
Game starts at 8:40.
Yeah, just the next these tomorrow will go super slow. I just know. So Can't wait to be back here. They better win tomorrow. Win tomorrow. That's my answer.
Yes. Thanks for dropping by the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365. We will see you tomorrow, and until then, fly the W. Tonight.
We all silly like the mayor.